How's everybody doing? Hey, it's Mason, Cardinal Gaming. Uh, let's keep talking about it. I mean, it's not stopping, so I guess we should just keep on making videos about it, letting you guys know what's going on in the hobby right now. And collecting, investing, whatever this is, whatever this period is that you want to call it, we're in it. So let's talk about it, huh? So, at the shop here locally, we are still selling Charizards like crazy. Had a couple of big purchases. I had the first edition Shadowless base set Charizard come in. Oh, I hate that. I hate when people say first edition and Shadowless in the same sentence. That is a faux pas because all first editions are Shadowless, right? For base set. Anyways, it's just a little thing I poke people that act like they know what they're talking about when they don't. And you know, as a store, you get people coming in. Oh, I got first edition Pokemon cards, and bring them in. And of course, they bring them in. They're unlimited or even like base set 2 or something. You know, really not even from base set. And it's just like these are just normal cards. Anyways, side tangent there. But yeah, I got that Shadowless. I said it again. First edition Charizard in. So I got a lot of other good things out of that collection, a lot of Japanese stuff, a lot of Japanese promos, other stuff. I got some legendary collection. You know, there's a Charizard in that. That's also like legendary collection, for people that don't know, is the first Pokemon set that had reverse hollows. They had that really like fireworky looking, really busy looking full effect to it. They're kind of like a niche collectible. They are very hard to find right now. They were kind of a less excited for set. And it's basically like preprints of the first couple runs of Pokemon. Think of it as like a base set 3 kind of deal, because it does have a lot of the same stuff. It does have like other cards like from the Team Rocket sets, and you know, just some other more nostalgic cards. But yeah, it's the first set that had reverse hollows, for people that don't know. And had a lot of those come in a trade. I traded those out for some of the Shinings Pokemon that I had that were not in the best shape. Shining Charizard is gone as well. So we're seeing this across the board for everything. Anything with the Charizard in it is going away and selling, going up in value. We even see a blip on from things like Darkness Ablaze, where you're having the secret Charizard from that and the shiny Charizard V also, instead of, you know, trending down like you would expect, had a little blip and coming up in sales. So they were trending down to almost around $400, and they're back peaking up around $5 last I looked. It's been maybe a day or two, but I'm assuming they are still pretty well in demand. So yeah, it's still going. You know, when you have this kind of information, when you try to collect data about you know, things like whether or not this is a bubble, whether or not this is something that'll stay, something that maybe we were overdue for, you know, there's a lot of information out there, a lot of people that have an opinion. Obviously, everybody that is a collector or in the hobby has an idea of what they think this is, right? But what you really want to look for when you try to get information, it's from people that have either knowledge on this, maybe they have some experience in other card games, or maybe in other hobbies, like you know, video games when they were really hot with the NES and Super Nintendo, and now we've seen you know, a dip back down in that. And then we've had 64 and GameCube taken off. And 64 is kind of leveled up now, and GameCube still climbing, ridiculous numbers. So you kind of see those kind of numbers, and you kind of compare what we're doing and what other card games and other things are going. And you know, when everybody has an opinion, right? You know, they're like butts. Everybody has one, right? But you kind of have to listen and pick and choose who you're going to get information from. You know, you have to really pick and choose, you know, people that either have a stake in the hobby or have, you know, maybe a business like mine that, you know, we're seeing and having more finite data rather than just, anybody can go look on eBay and see what prices are doing. But, to actually have the kind of information like what I get, where I have people emailing the store, I have people sending messages on the website, have people walking into the store and saying, here's $50, how many Charizards can I buy? That sort of information doesn't show, or shows that this is not an artificial thing. The demand is actually there. There's people that are actually interested in this. And, you talked about people that are big in collecting that are talking about this. I mean, everybody is. If anybody has Pokemon, definitely is talking about pricing right now. And people that, maybe like Rudy from Alpha Investments, he has a good knowledge base and information from the runs that, Magic has done. Magic is a highly, highly investable, card game where people, put money into that rather than stocks and stuff like that, because they know that it's only getting older, it's only getting more expensive, and there's going to be less and less in good condition out there, and it's going to shoot up and go up in price. So when you look at that kind of market and say, okay, this is Magic, big card game, the biggest card game, I would say, at least in English-speaking countries. For people that don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually a lot bigger and more widespread in Asian countries. It is huge over in Asia. But Magic is, widely known for very expensive cards like Black Lotus, things like that, that are the reserve list that people invest in because, again, in theory, we can talk about Wizards of the Coast and their decisions, maybe potentially down the road. But, these sorts of places to put money because they're never going to be printed again, or because they're only going to get more and more rare, you see people investing in those. So in that sense, it's kind of a no-brainer to put money into Pokemon, because it's the same thing, right? It's, I would say, even a better investment, because Pokemon is a huge IP, the biggest in the world. Again, I've said this a couple times in the video, but people are still surprised when I say it. Pokemon is the biggest intellectual property in the world, if you don't consider Disney one. You separate that out into Star Wars, Marvel, Disney properties, all that. They're smaller, but together they are larger. So you have a huge name behind it. Pokemon is not going anywhere. They have more money than God, and they're going to be around for forever, especially with Nintendo backing them. Nintendo's never going to let that franchise go under if Pokemon does ever have any issues, but they won't. So, it's going on its 25th year as far as existing. So it's a long-term thing that, again, has early set stuff that is rare, hard to find, old, and people are finally realizing, like, if people are going out and buying booster boxes and busting them, that is the end of that product. That doesn't exist anymore. So even if you say, booster boxes get lost or damaged or, thrown away potentially, who knows, right? You think they're just getting less and less of them. And then you have people opening the product and then, doing videos and things like that. Even people that are, hey, I need this for my collection, I'm going to scoop this up, and then this is mine forever. You can see that as, product out of the market as well. There is a finite amount of this stuff that exists. So it only makes sense for those to be expensive and to see a rise. This kind of rise that we've seen in the past even year, if you want to say, let's say all the way from the beginning of the year, is an unnatural thing. It was spurred on, it was catalyzed by influencers and people getting into the hobby, right? But Pokemon has always been rising in price for the old stuff. You think about 2016 with Pokemon Go, when people came back around and thought those were really popular stuff. We saw a rise then. Even since then, we've seen people Maybe when like Gen 8 came out with the Switch, maybe people that didn't have handhelds growing up, maybe they got into those and they wanted Pokemon and got interested in Pokemon. We saw those people come into it, or maybe come back to it, that maybe grew up with it when they were kids. Of course, things like Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu for the Switch, really easy kid-friendly games for Pokemon that were kind of like watered-down versions that, you know, you have another childhood market coming in and wanting the product as well. So you're seeing this type of, like, it's cylindrical, right? It comes in cycles. So you're going to see these things come back around when people want to go back into the hobby, right? I've seen it as well. I've seen people that have left the hobby and then come back when Hidden Fates came out. Hidden Fates is another big catalyst for at least trading cards, I would say, because a lot of people saw those cards, and even people that maybe didn't even like Pokemon for a while, that came into my store, saw them in the case, and like, wow, that's crazy. I want to look at those, and I want to collect those, and wow, this is my favorite Pokemon. I want this one because it's the shiny version. So Pokemon is, the company's onto something with things like Hidden Fates, and it's no surprise that they're pumping out something very similar to Hidden Fates early next year. So it only makes sense because Hidden Fates is still desirable, still wanted. You have this recent insurgence with you know, the influencers buying their boxes and opening product and getting people back into it and pumping money into the hobby. So yeah, Pokemon's gonna do what they do, and I would dare say that they knew this was coming. You know, and even, you know, looking back 6 months when the prices start to go up and rise in even like semi-modern stuff, we were seeing this kind of a movement before. So yeah, it's just not a natural like slope. It was kind of like a mountain. And I think we have plateaued a little bit as far as pricing goes, but you know, it's only lending more credence to the fact that, you know, we played catch up to get here, you know, to where old collectible stuff that is, again, you know, 20 years old now, it's getting to be desirable to the extent that we see this massive influx in price. And maybe we were spoiled for a long time about how cheap this stuff was. You know, I was selling base set Charizards at the beginning of this year for $50, $60, you know? And it's kind of crazy to think about, but I had several of them, and I've sold several of them, you know, at a time, and had them in the case, and never a first edition one, but, you know, they were not very expensive, and now we see that they are. And again, the conditioning of them is everything, right? You know, I can have a near mint or lightly played one for $350, and then, you know, I have damaged ones. I do have damaged ones that are terrible, like they were crumbled up in somebody's hand and sent through the washing machine. Both of those, and they look awful, but you know, they still have value. I haven't got rid of them. I'm not going to throw them away because they do still have value. So even for people that, you know, maybe don't want to spend the $350 for something like that, and they want a little placeholder, you know, paying, you know, $100 might be a reasonable thing. So that's the kind of thing that we're seeing right now. You know, people just wanting it all. So that's what I was really kind of my point I was trying to make. Just when you look at, you have to take examples from other hobbies and see how they trended. I don't think anything has had such a crazy price in this short amount of time where we're seeing it. But, you know, the longer this goes on, and the more people I see buying into the hobby and coming into it, and you know, the product that is being bought up and scooped up. Evolutions, for example, Evolutions is the most printed set in all of Pokemon, right? They printed that thing for a long time, years. And, you know, to see it, you know, hit $500, and of course it's now trending back down a little bit. You know, it's stable, right around 4 right now. Just to kind of see that kind of growth is unnatural. It's not a natural thing. But I think we all knew that a time would come where we would get there. I just didn't expect it to be, you know, over the course of 2 weeks, or, you know, of the last 2 months of when all this has really happened. And if you, again, want to factor in since May till now, just the prices doing what they did. So yeah, I would just say, you know, if you are looking for information, information sources, have people that have examples and have stakes in the hobby, and people that have knowledge and experience in other hobbies with this kind of stuff. Because you take all that experience and the information from those people, and you can kind of at least have expectations of what Pokemon will be doing here, you know, as we move away from this big uptick. From what I am hearing from other people, they do expect these prices to go back down maybe a little bit for, you know, the sealed stuff and maybe stuff like that. But pricing is going to be more or less where it's at, just because, you know, the market's there. It's going to stay there. And so long as we don't have a huge falling out of people out of the hobby, people are going to be wanting this stuff still. And like I said, for sealed stuff, you cannot convert singles back into sealed stuff. Sealed stuff gets open and it goes away, and that's all there is. You know, it's one less box in the world. So that's what I've been listening to people, you know, because my livelihood depends on this. So I'm taking information from other people and learning from them, and taking the knowledge from that. And from what I'm hearing, people expect this to hang around. If we see a little dip, cool. But yeah, the days of a $50 base set Charizard is probably not coming back. It just isn't. There's just too much demand for it, and the prices have been, it's now set, you know, precedent for old stuff that have hit their depreciation curve, is what they call it, the lowest point of their value, and have come back up. It's very unusual for an item to go up in price and then crash again, unless something spurs that on. And there's just not something that I could see where, you know, people would just be, you know, giving away Charizards. It's just not it's not going to be a thing. Maybe for the newer stuff, sure, but yeah, the whole older stuff, it's pretty much locked in to being, you know, at least in that realm of pricing. So that is what we're looking at, guys. Let's keep riding it and see what's going on. Of course, I will keep telling you guys what I'm seeing and letting you guys know. If you are seeing the same or maybe feel the same, let me know. Type down and let me know. And, you know, we'll see where it goes, guys. Other than that, have a good day.